It needs to be delivered by 4:30 p. and do so with a smile, written by NT Laser. I checked my watch and breathed in deeply. 4:28. It's time to get this over with. I ran my hand over my face and relaxed as much as I could, then pulled the biggest smile I had, ringing the doorbell. It rang an incredibly long, low sound that echoed around what must have been massive rooms within. I heard footsteps on the other side of the door approaching speedily. I heard a lock unlatch, then another, then a chain, and 3 more latches before the door cracked open. A bald, white man with a shining face slid his face out of the opening and looked at me with a smile. "Hi, welcome, little early aren't you?" he called jovially. I checked my watch again. 4:29, punctual guys, I suppose. "Yeah, I'm terribly sorry," I said, increasing my already stretched smile. This wasn't how I normally talked. Terribly sorry wasn't really part of my vocabulary, but I wasn't gonna risk this. "Huh?" he said, still staring at me. He didn't open the door anymore, so I raised the package towards him. "Nice afternoon, huh?" he asked, not reaching for the package. Yes, sir." "Got any plans?" "I'm gonna go visit my parents once I'm done here." My smile was faltering. Sweat was threatening to break on my forehead. "That's nice." I started to feel incredibly self-conscious as we stood facing each other. I could only see his head floating out the door, his eyes poring over me and always slowing over the package. Just as sweat started to break, the package started ringing. I jumped back as the man jumped out the door, looking uncomfortable, hungry. 4:30 on the dot. "Let's go, come on in, hurry." His face was pressed against mine as he led me inside. "I'm not sure I should." "Nonsense, come on." He practically dragged me in. The first floor was a pure white and smelled of an incredibly strong garlic. My eyes started to water, and I started coughing by sheer intensity of the smell entering my system. Everything burned by the time we made it across the hallway and out another door. We were outside now. Nathaniel, how is the delivery boy?" asked a stout woman, drinking water from a wine glass. "He's a family man," said the bald man, leading me to a chair to sit down in. "Oh, I love a man with something to live for," she said giddily. "Are you comfortable?" Nathaniel asked as he sat me down. Yeah, I realized I wasn't smiling anymore, but at this point it didn't matter. "I'm a little uncomfortable being here, actually." "That's understandable. We'll be out of your hair forever in a minute. Is the chair comfortable, though?" "Yeah, it's fine." I trailed off as I realized how many cameras there were pointed around outside. The woman was the only one out here, but she was speaking to a microphone and gesturing to cameras. It seemed that many people were watching this backyard. "Ready?" called Nathaniel. There was an audience of cheers over speakers and the lady. "Let's begin," he yelled, and some sort of cage fell around me. "Hey," I screamed. "Place your bets, people. Last words," called Nathaniel. "Please to stop for 10,000, replied a speaker. "Oh, his family for sure," called the woman. 20,000. "I bet a man like him has a girl." 15,000, called another through their speaker. Nathaniel was nodding as he took all of these notes down on a piece of paper. "What's going on here?" I exploded. I kicked at the containment, but it seemed that there were no openings in it. It was clear and had wires running through it. There were small microphones and speakers lined up on the wires. "Let me out!" I screamed, more out of frustration than anything. "Time of death?" asked Nathaniel, not missing a beat. 4:35, called someone enthusiastically. "Stop, let me out." I only now realized that I was still holding onto the box and that it was releasing some noxious red fumes. It smelled awful, and I was wondering how I couldn't smell it in all the time I was holding onto it. Seconds later, it burned to breath. "It hurts. Wait, please." I felt fluids running down my eyes, and I don't think it was tears. "Stop talking, kid. You'll get me a nice $10,000 out of this," spoke a speaker that had spoken earlier. Were they betting on me? Were they betting on my death? I was in too much pain to get a grasp on the situation. "Why isn't he smiling?" the woman asked. "Why do they never smile? I thought they were asked to smile." "They usually get selfish at their time of death, dear," Nathaniel said, sighing. "They don't sympathize with us because they don't understand us." "Please," I cried again, finally thinking to fumble in my pocket for my phone. As the screen was spattered with my dripping blood, I saw that it had no signal. I accepted that I was going to die, This was it. I brought in my own means to my end. I looked at the box as it continued to spew the gas, and I collapsed in my chair. I hope you all. I started coughing blood and losing consciousness. Looks like the House wins last words again, one of the speakers said, inciting some laughter. Red poured over my eyes as I faded into black. Thanks for reading. More short stories on the way.